Hi, my name is Jason Brown, and hello everyone. My name is Jason Brown, but please call me JB. I am the Adolescent Prevention Coordinator at Access Counseling. Today, I am here to talk about diversity and how to explore diversity in the classroom. So, the goal for today is that we are going to work on defining what is diversity. We will develop an understanding on the importance of diversity. We will learn how to facilitate healthy dialogue surrounding diversity. And finally, we will gain a better appreciation for our stories and for the stories of our students around us. So, when we talk about diversity, the first thing that jumps in our mind is probably an image that looks similar to this one. A lot of happy people that look different from each other, standing in front of a camera, smiling. When we look at this picture, we start to think, wow, what a diverse group of people, right? But do we really know what we are saying when we use that phrase? Well, let's take a look. According to Merriam Dictionary, diversity is a condition of having or being composed of different elements. That's pretty simple, right? So, when we look at this picture, we see people composed of different elements, right? People from different backgrounds, people from different nationalities. Well, I would agree, but to a certain extent. You see, the standard view of diversity usually encompasses 3 or 4 main components: race, ethnicity, gender, and age. You see, this is considered the more traditional view of diversity, and many definitions in many different areas will utilize this definition. This definition mostly focuses on the outward appearances, utilizing things that we see. So, when we look at this picture, utilizing traditional models of diversity, then we can say, yeah, this is pretty diverse. Look at these people. They look very happy. They're all laughing, smiling. However, I would argue that these people, besides the significantly older gentleman in the back, are actually pretty similar. Why? Well, take a few moments to think of the answer. You give up? Well, when you look at this picture, you notice that there really isn't much individuality between these people. They all seem very similar, wearing similar clothing, similar laughing styles actually either, similar way they look at the camera. In all honesty, it's kind of creepy. Where's their uniqueness? Where's their values? So when we think about diversity, there's much more than just the outward appearance. Yes, age, race, gender, ethnicity, those are key components and main factors that we shouldn't neglect. But however, there's way more than just those 4. You see, people are broken up into hobbies, their level of education, their interest, their mental abilities, the way they speak, language itself, their socioeconomic status, their sexual orientation, their physical appearance, and also maybe their physical abilities, their intellectual capabilities, and even their religion. There's many more than just these ideas that compromises diversity. So, diversity is much more than just the outward appearance. There's also the internal factors as well. There's some more external factors and worldwide factors as well. So what really is diversity then? Well, diversity is a condition of having or being comprised of different elements. That I do agree with. But diversity also is embracing the uniqueness of an individual, as well as developing one's identity as students explore their own sense of being. So, what that really means is that diversity is a way of understanding themselves. So, why is diversity so important? Diversity is so important because it encourages acceptance amongst each student. Once you encourage that acceptance piece, students become more empathetic towards others, which then prepares them to live in a more diverse world and to work in a more diverse field. They will feel more safe as they start to feel more appreciated within their environment, which allows them to become more open-minded, giving them the chance to identify their strengths and allowing them to create more complex thoughts and complex thinking, which also increases creativity, which gives the students the ability to feel supported. So this can also create a more comprehensive understanding of the subject matter, and this is something that can easily be researched, as studies shows that a more diverse setting creates a more better understanding of the subject matter because they learn at their own pace, which then also develops the ability to listen to different ideas in order to help solve a problem. And a more diverse classroom sets the student up to stay there a lot longer because they feel all these different things. They feel wanted. So, what are some ways to manage diversity in the classroom? Well, the one way to manage diversity in the classroom is to get to know your students. Wait a minute. Am I really asking teachers and faculties to become closer to their students? Well, yes. This may seem like a basic concept. However, this concept can easily be neglected in our busy lives. We as adults need to regularly communicate with our students, listening to our students, and then practice cultural competency, which is the ability to understand, communicate with, and effectively interact with people across cultures, being aware of your own worldviews and developing a positive understanding of others. Doing this will honestly promote and create a diverse lesson plan, as well as soon learn that there are many different styles of learning. Also, we can allow students to learn at their own pace, which giving them the freedom and flexibility to develop their skills at their own pace gives a student a deeper appreciation of the course materials and promotes a healthy, complex problem-solving ability. If you're like me, then not only do you need structure, but you also need real-world experience to learn and develop a new skill. Here, I will give you interventions so that you can utilize in the classroom. Now, some of these interventions you can use across all ages. However, certain interventions I think work specifically well with certain age groups, so I will talk about them later. Here, in particular, I think are certain interventions that can work across all age groups, such as reading books, bringing food from other cultures, listening to different music, the game, or really the worksheet that's called Who Am I, which is basically just allowing students to talk about who they are, something that they love to do. Charades at different varying difficulties. You would think this is not talking about diversity, but guess who? The game, it's actually pretty fun to play, and it does actually promote diversity as we look at different people very differently. And the privilege walks, which I'll talk about later. So one intervention that I think that you can use within the classroom is an intervention that I call the potato activity. Now, the goal of this activity is to understand the uniqueness of each individual. So what you need is, first, a brown paper bag. Any paper bag can do, but just get a bag. One potato for each student and yourself. So the way this activity works is, first, you're going to have a potato in your hand, and you're going to tell a story about that potato. Give this potato a name. Because later, you're going to have each student grab their own potato and tell their story about their potato. Now, I would like for your students to kind of learn that potato, get really familiar with the potato, because after they tell the story, you're going to collect all the potatoes, mix them up in a bag, and have students try to find their potato. It's a fun little game to play, and if you think they will not find their potato, well, guess what? I guarantee you that they will, because they're going to do something unique about it, and they're going to cherish it a lot more. And that will create a better discussion point, which I will link the activities at the end of this presentation so that you can go back into it and look at different discussion points. So these are some other activities that I think work really well with elementary age. Specifically wanting to highlight show and tell, because I think we forgot about that, and why? It's so awesome and it's so unique. Let's bring back show and tell, and have each grade do something about show and tell. It's so awesome. But honestly, arts and craft, world globe, spelling bees, and world flag game is also really good to do as well. So for your middle school age kiddos, I want you guys to use the activity Complementary Roundtable. So this activity enhances social skills as well as discuss stereotypes. You'll need 2 apples and a knife. That way you can cut the apples. So the procedures are listed below. It's a pretty simple, easy activity that you can do to help create an understanding of stereotypes and how stereotypes can actually affect the individual. If you don't like that activity, then what we do have is Unequal Resources. So this is a unique activity that can promote different economic backgrounds. So what you do is you want to have 5 Ziploc bags. Some of those bags are going to just have pens and papers in them, and other bags are going to have a lot more stuff in them. So give more art supplies to different bags, and you want to have a poster board. This activity works really well as students see each group with different materials, and they're wondering, why does that group has an easier time creating this poster than I do? Well, that's a good discussion point to have with them afterwards. So the activity that the video was showcasing was a moderation of the activity called Privilege Walk. Now the Privilege Walk is an activity that brings awareness to various forms of privilege and understand its complexity on society. This activity works great for understanding diversity and how diversity affects each and every individual. This is a high-risk activity, so you do want to utilize this in a very safe environment. So the direction of the Privilege Walk can be, again, various different forms, but the standard form will have students form a straight line across a room about arm's length apart, leaving space in front or behind. So you want to talk about the purpose behind the activity beforehand so that students will take this activity very seriously. And then you're just going to have students listen and follow the directions. Yes, trust your students that they are going to listen and follow the directions. Here are some examples of questions that you will see within the Privilege Walk. Now, these are some basic questions. However, the questions can become more sensitive the more you go. So you can modify your questions to fit your students. However, I would trust the process and trust these questions because they are some really good ones. So, in conclusion, diversity is more than just inclusion of different elements. But diversity brings awareness to an individual's uniqueness. Promoting diversity in the classroom can not only create a safe environment for students to learn, but also increases problem-solving abilities, which will just enhance employability in the future. And discussing diversity can actually be fun, exciting, and really enriching. Here is the link to the Privilege Walk, as well as the link to some of the activities that I have found within these presentations. On these 2 links, you will see more discussion points, as well as ways to help facilitate conversations. But if you need help and you just want to talk about different strategies, then you can contact me at either of those email addresses, and I will always get back to you. I'm here for you guys, as well as we're all in this together. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.